about all my own heroes from popular culture and entertainment, like Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Paul Krasner and all kinds of brave people who've, over the many, many years, fought to protect our intellectual freedom. The great anarchist bookseller Lawrence Ferlinghetti up in San Francisco, City Lights, who actually challenged the United States Customs Service with the publication of Allen Ginsberg's Howl, which I regret I don't have a copy with here today. I know the beginning of it. I saw the best minds of my generation starving, hysterical, naked, crawling the Negro streets of dawn looking for an angry fix. Jack Kerouac, the Beats, Henry Miller, everybody from Mad Magazine to the so-called pornographers, lots and lots of people who over the years have made it possible for us to have access in our country, for the moment anyway, to things that are not available in other countries. One of my heroes all time, arguably, maybe, I don't know, favorite writer, Kurt Vonnegut. I just got to read the beginning of Slaughterhouse-Five because I skipped class to read it when I was about 16, smoking cigarettes illegally and reading Kurt Vonnegut. All this happened, more or less. The war parts, anyway, are pretty much true. One guy I knew really was shot in Dresden for taking a teapot that wasn't his. Another guy I knew really did threaten to have his personal enemies killed by hired gunmen after the war, and so on. I've changed all the names. I really did go back to Dresden with Guggenheim money, God love it, in 1967. It looked a lot like Dayton, Ohio. More open spaces than Dayton has. There must be tons of human bone meal in the ground. I went back there with an old buddy, Bernard V. O'Hare, and we made friends with a cab driver who took us to the slaughterhouse where we had been locked up at night as prisoners of war. His name was Gerhard Müller. He told us that he was a prisoner of the Americans for a while. We asked him how it was to live under communism, and he said that it was terrible at first because everybody had to work so hard and because there wasn't much shelter or food or clothing. But things were much better now. He had a pleasant little apartment, and his daughter was getting an excellent education. His mother was incinerated in the Dresden firestorm. So it goes. He sent O'Hare a postcard at Christmas time, and here is what it said. I wish you and your family also, as to your friend, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope that we'll meet again in a world of peace and freedom in the taxi cab if the accident will. I like that very much, if the accident will. I would hate to tell you what this lousy little book cost me in money and anxiety and time. When I got home from the Second World War 23 years ago, I thought it would be easy for me to write about the destruction of Dresden, since all I would have to do would be to report what I'd seen. And I thought, too, that it would be a masterpiece, or at least make me a lot of money, since the subject was so big. But not many words about Dresden came from my mind then, not enough of them to make a book anyway. And not many words come now either, when I have become an old fart with his memories and his Pall Malls and his sons full grown. I think of how useless the Dresden part of my memory has been, and yet how tempting Dresden has been to write about. And I am reminded of the famous limerick. There was a young man from Stamboul who soliloquized thus to his tool, you took all my wealth, and you ruined my health, and now you won't pee, you old fool. And I'm reminded, too, of the song that goes, my name is Jon Janssen, I work in Wisconsin. I work in a lumber mill there. The people I meet when I walk down the street, they say, what's your name? And I say, my name is Jon Janssen, I work in Wisconsin. And so on to infinity. Over the years, people I've met have often asked me what I'm working on. And I've usually replied that the main thing was a book about Dresden. I said that to Harrison Starr, the movie maker, and he raised his eyebrows and inquired, is it an anti-war book? Yes, I said, I guess. You know what I say to people who I hear when I hear they're writing anti-war books? No, what do you say, Harrison Starr? I say, why don't you write an anti-glacier book instead? What he meant, of course, was that there would always be wars, that they were as easy to stop as glaciers. I believe that too. And even if wars didn't keep coming like glaciers, there would still be plain old death. There's the great Kurt Vonnegut reading to us from the grave, one of my personal heroes, Kurt Vonnegut. We got another 14 minutes.